This is the book I'm selling online. I'm asking for $50 and I'll send you the link and the password. Okay, I'll try to speed through this quick. There's right now there's 18 chapters. I'm going to be adding some more chapters, and if you get the book, those new chapters will appear in the link. First chapter is about my Konehead motors I worked with for about 5-6 years. They're north-north bucking coil motors, similar to the EV Gray motor, but low voltage, and I added regauging magnets and also discovered splatter coils, I call them, because they're north-north coil motors. All this flux comes shooting out the sides and you can gather it up. The second one is the Rotorverter, which is you make a regular 3-phase AC motor, induction motor, and you make it into single phase, and it'll have a third rotary transformer phase left over, which is actually over unity in itself. And you can do lots of things with this. I did quite a bit of work with the Rotorverter, and a lot of other people have. And chapter 3 is something I discovered. It's where at the sine wave peaks you can short out a coil really quick, and it just makes the coil go into a hyper ringing, and it fills up capacitors super fast, super high. And that's chapter 3. Chapter 4 is you take like a treadmill motor and you stick magnets on the stator housing, and you just get so much more power out of the thing. It makes the stator cores very strong magnetically, and you get all this increased speed and power. So in there I have a go-kart I built with one of these motors. Chapter 5 is Bill Muller, who was a guy up in Canada, Penticton, and he was like the #1 guy in free energy motors through the 80s, through the 90s, as far as I'm concerned. And he used really strong neodymium magnets, and he liked to have black sand cores. He showed me a picture of his basement, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, and it was just full of motors he built. And this guy was proving over unity back in the 80s, before the internet. And I met him and went up and visited him 4 times, and I learned a lot from him. And so I've been making kind of his style of motor generators since then. This chapter 6 is the dual rotor motor generator. Instead of just one rotor of neodymium magnets, it has 2 with the stator coils in between. And I split the stator coils into 1/3 motor and 2/3 generator. And I've been doing a lot of videos on that, and I'm testing it right now. And I have this over here in Belarus. I'll be going back to America in December. So chapter 7's the electric car conversion. I took an old rusty Fiat 124 Spider and made it into electric. It's pretty popular videos. It's pretty cool. I was planning on putting Muller generators and my own motors in there, but I never got to it. I lost my garage, sold it. These are some long videos with I don't talk all the time through them, and I just work on my motors. It's kind of a popular thing called ASMR videos, which means autonomous synchronous something or other response. It's just kind of puts you to sleep and relaxes you. But it was kind of fun just letting it go. So this chapter 9 and chapter 10 are my Muller type motor generator. It's got 16 magnets in it. I have it here in Belarus, and I have high impedance coils with kind of pinpoint shaped fluorous cores in them. I've changed the motor coils a few times. I did a lot of tests and videos of these here. You get it up to about 2,000 RPM. It has no lens, which is good. And chapter 11, this is something I discovered. It's very good. Gary Porter gave me the idea a long time ago. Instead of hooking the flyback directly into capacitors, you actually delay the connection about 5 degrees retarded, and you can fill up capacitors very easily, and the primary does not lug up and draw when it happens. And this is pretty good chapter here. There's a lot of good info, and I do some tests of it, just demonstrating it. Okay, chapter 12 and 13, it's this pink motor generator, I call it. And I've been working on this for the past 4 months here in Belarus. And I have 2 of them. I'm trying to loop one into the other, and I've got some tests showing over unity. I use the delayed flyback connection, and also when the cap fills up, I have the cap decoupled upon discharging to load. It's isolated from the coils and diodes that filled it. So you fill up a cap, I call it a 2-stage output circuit. First you fill the cap by itself, and then you put the cap into a load by itself. So I have a lot of videos and tests here in the pink motor generator. This chapter 14 is about 12 years ago. I was renting an old farm, and I did a lot of work on rotorverters. I made these really cool, super powerful AC motors that run on AC, and they have these big 2-inch by 1-inch neodymium magnets in them. And this is some really good stuff. And I used Rotorverter motor chassis, and I mounted them on the axles. Whoops, what happened there? Okay, chapter 15 is a rotating disc inverter. This is really good. As soon as I get back to Seattle, I'm going to make some of these, make some more of them. And basically, instead of having an inverter running AC stuff, you make a little disc with magnets in it that spins around, controlled by a pulse width modulator, and you can adjust the frequency. So it's like a variable frequency drive, more or less. Plus, you can adjust the pulse width and also the voltage too. And these are pretty cool. And so I made some, tested them, have the circuits and the design there. Various capacitor discharge circuits, chapter 16. This is what I was talking about, where you fill up a capacitor and you by itself, and then you discharge it by itself in 2 stages. You don't ever have the load on the capacitor when it's filling. And there's some circuits, how I did this, also some tests of them. Okay, and then the chapter 17, it's self-oscillating battery charger. Oops. Okay, chapter 17, self-oscillating battery charger designs. That's like the Rene charger, if any of you know about that. Like, it doesn't rotate or anything. It self-oscillates. You have a transistor in there, and you put a certain resistance from the gate, and it will just kind of go into an oscillation. It'll just beep, 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 you know. And this is like the Jewel Thief and the Rene charger. So I made my own design. Well, it's the same design, but I kind of beefed it up to charge big 12-volt golf cart batteries that I had in my electric car. And so I show all that there. Chapter 18 is the Orbo motor. It's kind of a unique motor design. I built one with brush commutators, and it went great. 5 magnets in a rotor and 5 coils, toroid coils on each side. And when you energize the coils around the toroid, and I had the toroid, when you energize the toroid coils around a ferrite tube, is what I had for cores, it kind of blocks the magnetism of the rotor magnets, kind of shields it. And so you can have the magnets pull naturally to the cores, and upon energizing, it just lets it fly right by. So I just have that as chapter 18. And so if I've been giving away everything I do for free for 25 years, and I just decided to try and make some money and put out a book. And like I say, I'm going to be adding more chapters. I've sold 2 of these, and so this is my video kind of promoting my book, what's inside of it. So, okay, thanks for watching.